Okay, the time has come. Game of the Year nominations. I'm going to try to make this video quick because there are 31 categories that I can vote in. I'm not going to vote in all 31. I'm going to vote in maybe, I would imagine, half of them when it comes to the Game Awards. But I'm going to be live streaming the event, seeing what games win the different categories. But let's jump into this. I imagine this is going to be really fun. So we got the Riot Games lo-fi chill music playing. Let's get through some categories. So, Game of the Year. I wonder if I should start with this one first or if I should kind of work somewhat backwards. Let's take a look here. View categories. Okay. You know what? Let's go with, let's work from bottom right. I'm not going to vote in all these. So, best esports event. Nah. Because it's going to be something that I either know or I've seen. I'm not going to try to vote for something I don't know anything about. Best esports coach. Best esports team, best esports athlete. Man, this is gonna be a short video. Best esports game. Let's take a look at what's in here. Best esports game. I mean, I'm not watching any of those, so let's go back here. Most anticipated game. I remember Elden Ring winning so many times before it finally came out. Ooh, this is a good one. Most anticipated game. I'm usually, you know what? I'm not gonna try to brag and be like I'm right on all of my votes all the time. Sometimes I can fill out what's kind of being talked about on the internet. But I think that it's probably gonna be a tie. Well, I'm gonna say either Final Fantasy 16 or Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I'm gonna go with. I think this game is way more anticipated. I think Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. So let's vote for that. Bam, vote placed. I'm not going to do anything official. I'm not going to share this online or anything right now. Just kind of doing this more for the video. Okay, so next category. Oh, hold on a second. View categories. There we go. So my anticipated game, I put Zelda. Best adaptation. Okay, I think I saw this category before. So you have Uncharted, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, The Cuphead Show, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I've heard this is really good. And Arcane League of Legends. Well, I happen to have watched Arcane. I did watch a little bit of Cuphead. I thought it was pretty funny. But as far as... Oh, so let's read this description here. Recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. I would say no for Uncharted. Even though it was successful, no for Sonic. I'm going to say... I don't know for Cuphead. I don't think so for Edge Runners. I think Edge Runners is good, but I would say I don't think so or no. So almost by process of elimination, I'm going with Arcane. But this is one of my favorite shows I think I'll ever see. And I'm not even a League of Legends person, so let's vote for Arcane. All right, view categories. Best adaptation, best indie debut, or best debut indie. Okay, you know, I can't weigh in on any of these. I know Vampire Saviors is really popular. I think for the sake... I don't want to vote in something I definitely don't know, but I think it's going to be either Vampire Saviors or Stray, I think are the two. So I think this one seemed really popular, Vampire Saviors, but I think it was kind of like a flash in the pan. I think Stray is probably for the best debut game created by a new independent studio. I think that Stray is probably a little bit better. So even though I don't want to hedge my bets here, even though I think Vampire Saviors will win, I think Stray is a better game, but I'm going to go with Vampire Saviors. Okay. View categories. Content Creator of the Year. Best multiplayer. Okay, I'm not playing any multiplayers, but okay. Oh, so let's see. For outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. What do I feel like I've heard the most about here? Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Multiverses, that one was, I think, a flash in the pan. Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, Teenage Mutant Turtles. I think all of these are not really... I feel like I haven't heard that much. So, you know, I think between the three, the ones that are here, I'm going to say it's going to be neck and neck between Multiverses and Splatoon. This is tricky though, because it's like I'm trying to think from the perspective of what are people saying versus I have to keep in mind like what reviewers are going to say, because this isn't really just like online discourse. This is like reviewers. This one I almost feel like I don't want to vote in, you know, just for the sake of kind of picking something. I think I'm going to go with Call of Duty. I think I'm going to give it to Call of Duty. I don't feel that way, but I think that's what's going to win. If it were my choice, I think I would probably say Splatoon, but okay. So here we are. Best sports racing. I don't play these games. I haven't really watched these, so I'm going to skip this category. Let's see here. Best simulation strategy. Okay, I think I'm going to skip this one as well. I don't play these, so I can't weigh in on them, though. Nope. I mean, I want to lean on Mario Rabbids because I heard a lot about that, but I don't know. Let's see. Best family game. Okay. Kirby. Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga. Nintendo Switch Sports. Splatoon 3. You know, I think I'm going to go with Lego Star Wars. I don't think you can beat Star Wars, and I don't think you can beat Lego. I think this is, and from what I've heard, and I feel like what I've seen online, I think this is the game where if you really wanted, like, and let's read this here. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. Okay. Family play, it would probably be Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga, or Mario Rabbids. So between the two, I'm going to go with Star Wars. Okay, cool. Best fighting. I'm not really following these. Oh, man, I heard. Okay, let's see here. DNF Duel. Okay. For the best design, for the best game design primarily around head-to-head combat. Head-to-head. Okay. DNF Duel. I'm going to say no. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R. No. King of Fighters. I'm going to say no. Multiverses. I actually want to say no to everything. No, and then Sifu, which I don't think is a head-to-head game. Head-to-head combat. So, of what's here, I mean, I guess I will give it to Multiverses. Because everything else... Man, for as much as I feel like I follow game stuff, I don't follow it close enough to know all these different categories. I'm going to give it to this one only because I think that this was really popular. I think it blew up so quickly. So many people are making videos on this one that I'm going to give it to Multiverses. But I think I checked the Steam charts on this game, and it lost like most of its player base like after the first month. So that's the reason why I think that I don't think it deserves it based on, you know, a month of playing the game. But all of these other games, I don't think any of these are like for the best game design primarily. Best? I mean, best? Probably DNF Duel. Of what's here, I'm going to go with DNF Duel. It's kind of weird with the way I'm picking these because I'm kind of picking these based on like what I think, and when I came into this, it was kind of like, what do I feel reviewers will pick, and now it's kind of transformed from what do I think reviewers will pick to what do I think should win. But whatever, it's all fun. So best role playing. Best role playing. Role playing. Ooh, this is an interesting one. You'd think this would be an easy pick, but it's Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Let's read this. For the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. Okay, so we are going to rule out Triangle Strategy. We're ruling out Xenoblade Chronicles 3. We are ruling out Live Alive or Live Alive, because I hadn't heard anything about this. So obviously it's coming down between Pokemon Legends Arceus and Elden Ring. It's Elden Ring. I mean, Elden Ring, easy. If you're just basing it off of like what this says, it's a way like rich player customization. Come on, Elden Ring all day. Okay, so best action adventure. Action adventure. For the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. The best traversal and puzzle solving. So this one's a bit I didn't play nor did I watch anything on A Plague Tale Requiem. So for me, I think when you say best, it's coming down between these two. God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West. And I think God of War Ragnarok was better at action. It was a better adventure game. And its combat... Its traversal might not have been better than Horizon. Its puzzle solving... I think God of War's puzzles were a bit better than Horizon 2. Horizon Forbidden West. I think it was, so I'm going to give it to God of War. Okay, let's move along here. Best action game. Action adventure versus action. For the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat. Ooh, this is a good one. Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty, Neon White, Sifu, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I think that this one is probably going to be between, for me, Sifu and Neon White. I think Bayonetta 3 was more of the same. And I don't know much about Sifu, so... Well, I'm sorry, Neon White. So I'm going to give this to Sifu. I think Sifu's was such a unique experience that... And I don't think there's really any other game like it. So yeah, I'm going to give it to Sifu. I think it is the best action game. Best VR, I think I'm going to skip this one. I don't do that. Innovation, accessibility. I'm going to skip this one because I didn't turn on any accessibility features. I've heard nothing about this, so it's hard for me to say. If I wanted to just vote on something, I'm not going to click on it. I might say Last of Us because I know that, you know, Naughty Dog, with what they did with Last of Us Part 2, I'd imagine they brought that into Part 1 remake. So I would probably give it to Last of Us, but I'm going to skip that one. Best community support. Interesting. Communities. Oh, okay. Recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates patches. Okay. No Man's Sky, Fortnite, Final Fantasy XIV, Destiny 2, Apex Legends. Okay, I think this is probably going to be maybe an Apex Legends and Final Fantasy XIV. I'm going to go with Final Fantasy XIV. I'm going to give it to Final Fantasy. I think that was that moment when Blizzard was doing everything wrong that Final Fantasy really just sort of like exploded in popularity. And it just so happened to be doing everything right at the time. So I know it had a bit of a server issue where people weren't being able to log in because, you know, because it was too many players. But outside of that, I do think that that game probably was doing amazing. So Final Fantasy, best mobile game. Okay, I probably won't be able to weigh in on this. Tower Fantasy, Marvel Snap for the best game playable on a mobile device. Man, I don't want to do this. Let's get out of here. All right. Best indie. I wish I knew a little bit more about Neon White. I think I've seen gameplay of that. But best indie? Oof, these are all good too. I mean, it's probably going to come down to Cult of the Lamb or Sifu. I've heard a lot of glowing reviews from reviewers about Cult of the Lamb. And as much as I would like, this is for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. Creative and technical achievement? It's those two. And I'm trying to... It's not like I want to be right. I'm just trying to think of, like, what do I feel like I've seen online from game news outlets as well as, like, Twitter and Reddit and social media. Just what have people been talking about? I feel like it's probably Cult of the Lamb. I personally would give it to Sifu. I think I like Sifu more, but you know what? I think I'm gonna go with Cult of the Lamb. No. Sifu. No. Yes. I'm gonna go with Sifu. Jeez. Okay. Best indie. Best ongoing. Okay, so MMO. Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. I mean, I'm going to go with Final Fantasy again on this one. I think it's, I mean, obviously not 100% on any of these, but I'm feeling pretty confident about that. Best ongoing games for impact. Okay. For a thought-provoking game with pro-social meaning. I cannot weigh in on this. You know, it's funny. Those kind of games I actually don't at all gravitate to. So I've never heard of any of these. Best performance. Oh, okay. Awarded to an individual for voice overacting, motion, and or performance capture. Horizon Forbidden West. Ashley, I can't read that. Birch. Horizon Forbidden West. Okay. These names are pretty hard for me to read at the moment. So, A Plague Tale Requiem. I already know the name. Christopher Judge from God of War. Is that... I can't read that, but Immortality. And God of War Ragnarok. Sunny Soljic? Okay. Awarded to an individual for voice overacting. You know, this one's tricky because I didn't play A Plague Tale. I think I'm gonna go with Christopher Judge. I mean, it's gonna be God of War, but I'm trying to think of Atreus, like things that he said in the game, like things that really like jumped out at me as like, wow, this is a really good performance by this character. I think it would be a little bit more so Kratos, so I'm gonna give it to Christopher Judge. Okay. Let's see here. I am up at audio design. Best audio design, recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. In-game audio and sound design. Ugh, I think it's a three-way tie. So we've got Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West. Recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. Sound design. I kind of want to give this to Horizon. I mean, honestly, I think it's up in the air. I don't think between the three, Horizon, God of War, or Elden Ring, I think they all had amazing sound design and in-game audio. I mean, especially Elden Ring. I mean, I feel like Elden Ring had, as an example, like the singing, like, I don't even know what that creature was, but it was some sort of like winged woman creature that was singing something in Latin. I mean, there was that. There was just the eeriness of the game. I think I saw something recently about like audio that was so quiet that it needed to be boosted in order to hear it, and it had something to do with Albinarix. But then God of War, I think God of War, if there's nothing else, I think God of War might win alone. I know it's going to seem a little exaggerated, but God of War could win alone on the sound of Thor's hammer. When Thor picked that thing up or set it down, you could, with the headphones on, you could hear the weight of that weapon. Ugh, it just sounded heavy and powerful. On the other hand, though, Horizon Forbidden West, I think its sound design with regards to like the cauldrons in particular and the sounds of the machines, which is obviously most of the game because that's the enemies that you fight against, they were next level. I mean, I think that some of the sound design was so good in that game that it was so subtle that you kind of got lost in it. So, best, I'm going to go with, I think the best probably was Horizon. I think it was. So I'm going to give it to Horizon. I think, just real quick about God of War, because I think Elden Ring's good, but Elden Ring really is kind of just more Dark Souls from software stuff. I think for God of War, it was more of the same. And I think between the three games, Horizon, which is a sequel to, you know, Zero Dawn, Ragnarok, and Elden Ring, I think, because Elden Ring is really just Dark Souls 4, right? It's more Dark Souls, Bloodborne stuff. God of War is, Ragnarok is more 2018 God of War, and then this is more Zero Dawn. So between the three, who like moved forward the strongest when it came to audio and design and sound design? Yeah, probably Horizon. Okay, best score and music. Oof. Okay, I think I didn't play Plague Tale, but I think that If its soundtrack is anything like the first one, which I imagine it's going to be, fantastic. I think that might be one of the strongest soundtracks I've ever heard. Elden Ring. So what makes Elden Ring so hard to pick, especially when it's in multiple categories, is what I said about its sound design. It's that Elden Ring is really more of that Dark Souls formula, which isn't bad. It's not bad. I just think that for me, and I'm probably going to mention this when I live stream the Game Awards, which is Elden Ring is like the mountaintop of that formula. So I think that it could potentially lose to anything else that just had better music. Outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. I mean, but like, should we bust out the Elden Ring theme? Hold up. Let's open this up. That thing goes hard. Ugh. It just makes you think too, because it was like 6-7 months ago, you know, that this game came out. But like, oh man, I'm getting taken back. The memories are getting me. The Ring. Going with Elden Ring. Okay, put the other music back on. All right, a few categories. Best art direction. Art direction. Art direction? Ooh, oof. Man, okay. For outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. Artistic design and animation. Oof. Well, from the animation side of things, I don't think Elden Ring's is as strong. I think animation, definitely God of War, and probably Horizon, because the machines, man. Best art direction. But it's funny, because without this, like, I guess this statement here, this qualifier, lets you know what they're focusing on with this. Because outside of reading that, if I were to think about the art direction for all of these games, I think Elden Ring had the strongest art direction. I really think it did. Because again, God of War, especially with I mean, some of the realms you visited were kind of the same, but the Lake of Nine being frozen versus it not being frozen in 2018, that is art direction. But at the same time, I don't think it's as strong as what I'd seen in Elden Ring. And it wouldn't be fair to compare Dark Souls 3 to Elden Ring, because they're two different games. Horizon also was kind of more of the same. Best art direction. What do I think this is going to go to? Oh, of course, Scorn. Scorn might win now that I think about it. Holy crap. This one could definitely win. Best for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. This one could win. I just don't want it to be filled with all those like AAA wins, but it's definitely possible. Art direction I'm going to give to Elden Ring also. Okay, best narrative. Okay, now, I'd be lying to the YouTube video if I didn't admit that I know already what's going to win. No, if I didn't see the conversation happening with this best narrative categorization on Twitter. So at first I didn't really care until I started playing God of War, and then I got to the scene in God of War. I mean, it's not a huge spoiler, it's pretty early in the game, but I got to a scene in God of War where Kratos tells Mimir that he's tired, and he takes off the bracers and he goes to lay down because he has no way of essentially getting to Asgard without spoiling too much, but he has no way of getting to Asgard. And that performance of him in the room, just exhausted, to me, that one scene by itself is better than everything in Elden Ring. So, but best narrative does say for outstanding storytelling, narrative development in a game. I think Horizon's storytelling is not good at all. I'm trying not to be subjective about that. This is the part where like a YouTuber might say, go watch my videos to see how I feel about Horizon. Real quick, I don't think Horizon's storytelling is really that strong. I think that Aloy kind of comes across a little bit of a Mary Sue to me, in the sense that she always knows what to do. I think that the game is always kind of telling you exactly what's going to happen next. Like, you know exactly what's going to happen at the moment that it happens. There's really kind of nothing there to develop. I don't think it's a very well told story. I think that Horizon Forbidden West should have been a little bit more condensed, and instead it was very exploded, which is funny because the game right next to it, God of War Ragnarok, is I think everything Horizon should have been, in that it was just more compact. It was larger in the sense like the realms were a little bit bigger, but what the story was, it focused very much on the characters, their dynamic with each other, but it was just like a tight story. So, and then Elden Ring, you know, honestly, before I got to that scene in God of War, I did think God of War was very well done with the story. But I think Elden Ring's world building, it's different games, right? But Elden Ring's world building, by the time you start the game and are like running through it, versus everything in God of War Ragnarok up to that point with Kratos trying to get to Asgard, I was like, I don't know, I think Elden Ring might be just better as far as like the world. But for a story that, I know this is not what the category says, but for a story that you might tell somebody, like if you had the ability to just kind of like recount, okay, I'm going to tell you the entire story of Ragnarok, or I'm going to tell you the entire story of Elden Ring. Elden Ring, there really isn't one. It's more like the world is the story. With Ragnarok, there is a story there between Atreus and Kratos. So I'm going to give Best Narrative to God of War. We're almost done. Best Game Direction. Very similar categories. Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Vision and innovation. You gotta be kidding me if this doesn't go to Elden Ring. Vision, innovation, and game direction and design. I don't think either of these two games, as much as I said on stream when I played God of War, and I've had time to sit with my thoughts since I beat it, I said this is one of the greatest games ever. I think God of War might be the strongest game that I think I've ever played. I think it would be the most well-made gaming experience and story experience I've ever had, and I might ever have. But creative vision and innovation, I don't really know if there's really anything that was that. It was very creative. Because the combat was really good. This one's hard. This one's really tricky. And I know this is going to sound subjective, but I just rule Horizon Forbidden West out because I think it was just too bloated. I think the direction for God of War is actually probably stronger than Elden Ring. And I think it's stronger than Elden Ring because I think Elden Ring, its storytelling, it's funny because it doesn't say storytelling here. But I think that when I think game direction, like if I didn't have this section in white, and I think game direction, I think God of War would be stronger. I think where it started and where it ended and how it got there was a stronger direction for the game than Elden Ring. But when I look at what this like qualifier is, awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation, God of War Ragnarok is more of the same. I think if somebody liked God of War 2018 and then you played God of War Ragnarok, you're gonna like it. I mean, it's more of the same. I think with Elden Ring was so like mind-blowing in part because it got people that were not interested in that Souls-like formula, the FromSoftware Dark Souls formula. It got people that knew about that, but were gonna like jump in. I mean, I think creative vision and innovation, I think that it did so many things amazingly well. I think it innovated in all the right ways from that Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne formula. And I think that its vision was one of the strongest, except for it also is more of the same. That's what's tricky about this. This is also more of the same. I'm going to give it to Elden Ring. It's only because I keep lingering on the creative vision and innovation. I think that it innovated a bit more than God of War Ragnarok did. Okay, and then last category, but with the way this has been trending, I think this kind of goes without saying. Game of the Year. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. God of War Ragnarok, easy. Let's wrap this video up. To me, it's going to come down between one of two games. And if I hadn't read that, it would have been different. Because I know it's been, there's been a war happening on social media with regards to these two games. But I think that Elden Ring is a fantastic gaming experience. I think it is a super strong gaming experience, and I don't think that we're going to get a better game like Elden Ring ever. I think that's it. We're done. But that being said, I don't think Elden Ring's for everybody. It's not something that I think you kind of have to be ready for that kind of game. You know, if you stepped into Elden Ring and you're used to playing, you don't focus on any gaming news, and you're like, oh, I play Fortnite, Fall Guys, Pokemon, Halo Infinite, and I don't read any social media. I just play games when they pop up. I'm thinking of my sister when I say this, but like, she doesn't know anything about any of these games. And if there were any of the two games that I think that if she picked up on her own and she found without reading anything, just, oh, I saw this at the store, I went and grabbed it, and she grabbed these two games, she would definitely like God of War way more than Elden Ring. So I think this part is what grabs me. Delivers the absolute best experience. I mean, I know there's more to it, right? Across all creative and technical fields. Yeah, but even that, like creatively, I don't think God of War Ragnarok is more creative than Elden Ring, but technically way stronger than Elden Ring. And then it's just this part that I'm hanging on. Delivers the absolute best experience. I think God of War Ragnarok is a significantly stronger experience for someone who can tolerate and enjoys playing video games. If you are someone that can say to yourself and to others, yeah, I enjoy playing video games, God of War Ragnarok will be a much better experience for you than Elden Ring, 100%, even though I think I like Elden Ring a little bit more than God of War. So that is my game of the year. Those are my thoughts on the Game Awards and Game of the Year and what I think is going to win different categories. If you want to check out more of my content, my socials are at the bottom of the screen. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.